Hey, what's up, man? Y'all know who it is. We gonna be reacting to the worst records in NFL history. Shh, I don't even know. Peterman bum ass definitely gonna be on here.
Very few
But
football
let's get
players
into
are
it.
lucky enough to play a snap in the NFL, but even fewer can say
Subscribe
they
and
hold a
like.
spot in the NFL record books. Most of the time, NFL records are celebrated, an accomplishment that a player can wear like a badge of honor. But for an unlucky few, they hold a record for all the wrong reasons. Today, we've compiled some records
The
that'll
worst
make you
records.
laugh. Well, unless you're a fan of the player or team, then they'll probably make you cry. Nonetheless, here are the most embarrassing records in NFL history.
Dante Culpepper.
Nathan Peterman, Keith Nall,
They showed a lot
most
of bums.
interceptions in an NFL debut. Nathan Peterman's debut has become
Nathan
a running
Peterman's
joke,
the worst
a barb
quarterback.
to throw at Bills fans in a
Lies, he
debate.
the
For
GOAT.
some
Nathan Peterman the
inexplicable
GOAT.
reason, head coach Sean McDermott decided to sit Tyrod Taylor, even though they had a 5-4 record with him at QB, in favor of
Tyrod.
Peterman. That decision turned out to be a complete disaster. On Peterman's first drive, his receiver bobbled a pass that was intercepted for a touchdown. Less than a minute later, he
was
threw a
still Peterman's
hilariously
fault.
bad underthrow.
He threw the ball way
and it
too
was
hard.
picked as well.
Shitty
With a
ass.
minute left in the first quarter, Peterman tossed an equally horrible third interception. On the very next throw, he placed one
Terrible.
ball late and outside
Worst
that was
quarter-
pick six. To cap it off,
Peterman,
Peterman
man.
missed his receiver by a mile for his record-tying 5th interception in his NFL debut. Unlike Keith Hull, though, it only took Peterman a half
First
of
game,
football to
fuck.
match the record, putting him in a rare air of infamy. Gary Collins
One-
and Dante Culpepper,
That boy threw
most
5
fumbles in a
interceptions in
single
one half.
season. Being an NFL quarterback is a tough job, as they're expected to shoulder a large amount of responsibility for an offense. One of the most crucial responsibilities, however, is to take care of the ball, something that Titans QB Kerry Collins and Vikings QB Dante Culpepper failed to do at a comical rate. They both lost 23 fumbles
They both was
in a
sweet at a
season.
time, but-
That equals to nearly 1.5
Got
fumbles
trashed as
a
they got
game.
older.
Putting your team's fate into Culpepper or Collins' hands seems like a terrible decision. This forced their team to lose the turnover battle
They damn near
almost
averaged 2
every
fumbles a
week,
game.
creating an uphill fight to actually win a game. The team that has less turnovers wins 78% of games. Imagine going up against that stat every week because your quarterback can't hold onto the ball. Both teams struggled, and neither made the playoffs of the year their quarterbacks set these embarrassing records. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the most consecutive
course.
losses. There isn't a franchise that has had a worse start than the
Damn.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Them boys
Rocking
just won the Super
creamsicle
Bowl,
orange
too.
uniforms, they went
Brady.
completely winless in their inaugural season. An abysmal 0 wins and 14 losses. It took just 1 year for the Buccaneers organization to break NFL records, just not the ones they envisioned. Tampa Bay became the first team to go winless in a 14-game season in NFL history. If that wasn't humiliating enough, the 1977 season piled on more losses. In 12 games, they bested their own mark of scoreless games set the year before, being shut out 6 times. A myriad of injuries and weak rosters led to an incredible losing streak
Them
of
niggas is
26
shitty.
games. Imagine your favorite team losing almost 2 full seasons of games in a row. I don't even think wearing brown paper bags would do that justice. Thankfully, the Bucks got their first franchise win against their future rival, the New Orleans Saints, and then doubled it up with a 2-game winning streak to end the season. The Bucks are far from a laughingstock these days, as they are one of 20 teams who have won a Super Bowl and recently acquired the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. George Blanda, most interceptions in
Aaron
a
Rodgers
single
better.
season. If you thought Jameis Winston's 30 interception season was sensational enough, boy do we have a story for you. In 1962, NFL pioneer George Blanda threw 42 interceptions for the Houston Oilers. 42. That number still stands as the
42
record by
interceptions?
7 interceptions.
That's
Not to
terrible.
mention, Blanda accomplished that insanely bad
Damn,
feat
bro, what
in
was you
one less
doing?
game than usual. Since the 1962 AFL season only consisted
was
of
just throwing
15
the other
regular
team.
season games. In what seems like an alternate universe, Blonda's 2.8 interceptions per game couldn't derail the Houston Oilers from reaching the championship
3
game
interceptions a
and
game.
trouncing their opponents. They ended
That
up
was
losing
trash.
the championship, mostly because of Blanda's inability to stop throwing to the wrong team. His 5 picks were the difference in the overtime loss to the Dallas Texans. George Blanda's 42 interceptions record has nearly no chance of being broken, especially nowadays, with fans fans and teams so urgent to drop any underperforming quarterback like a bad habit. David Carr, the most times sacked in a single season. We may never get the chance to see what David Carr could have been. His development was completely stalled by useless, inept offensive lines of the Houston Texans. Yeah, he was a rookie who probably held onto the ball too long sometimes, but that's no excuse for how humiliating the first ever offensive line in Texans history was. There's a good chance David Carr still wakes up with nightmares of the 76 brutal sacks he took his rookie year. It's honestly a shock that Carr made it the entire season without being seriously injured. Carr got so good at responding to being hit unknowingly that he broke the single-season fumble recovery record as well. The expansion Texans sacrificed David Carr for years of success, but it was humiliating in the process. Paul Hornung, most missed field goals in a single season. The Golden Boy Paul Hornung was the only Heisman Trophy winner to ever win an MVP, an NFL championship, and be inducted into both the NFL and College Football Hall of Fames. But what he is not is a very good field goal kicker. Field goals were not nearly as automatic in the 1960s as they are now, as the NFL-wide average was just 49% converted. In 1964, Hornung missed 26 field goal attempts in one single year. It wasn't just that he missed so many. Hornung's critical misses led to Green Bay being one win short of competing in the NFL championship game. His 0-for-5 performance against the Baltimore Colts was the deciding factor that lost the Green Bay Packers the biggest game of the year. He was a putrid 1-for-10 between 30 to 39 yards.
His numbers are mortifying.
Any kicker today would be fired with just one game like the multiple he had in 1964. Buffalo Bills, most consecutive Super Bowl losses. Holding the record of 4 Super Bowl appearances in a row doesn't mean much when you're also holding the embarrassing mark of 4 straight Super Bowl losses. The 90s Buffalo Bills were loaded with talent, led by an innovative passing attack from Hall of Famer Jim Kelly. The Bills lost on a heartbreaking missed field goal as time expired in Super Bowl 25. In Super Bowl 26, their prolific offense was stymied, falling back 24-0 before losing 37-24 to the Redskins. The dynamic group of Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, and James Lofton couldn't seal the deal after dominating their way to a Super Bowl berth every year. They were trounced by the Cowboys in Super Bowl 27. Then the following year, they met the Cowboys again in Super Bowl 28, where they held a 13-6 halftime lead. Unfortunately, the Bills could never get the job done, being shut out in the second half for their record 4th consecutive Super Bowl L. This is a humbling record that will probably never be broken. Mark Sanchez, career butt fumbles. During Mark Sanchez's brief run in the NFL, he led the New York Jets to 2 AFC championship games. However, no one remembers that because of a single moment of infamy, the butt fumble. On Thanksgiving Day 2012, the Jets were playing against the New England Patriots. Out of the gate, they were down 2 touchdowns and driving to try and get back into the game. Sanchez took the ball from under center and went to hand it off to the running back, but unfortunately, he was nowhere to be found. In a broken play, Sanchez decided to try and make the most of what he had before being tackled. Vince Wilfork shoved the Jets blocker backwards, and Sanchez ran straight into the blocker's backside. Sanchez was leveled and fumbled the ball, allowing the Pats to score. Mark Sanchez never really got another chance to play after that, becoming more of a meme than an NFL quarterback on one single play. Brett Favre, career interceptions. Brett Favre is the definition of a gunslinger. Favre believes there isn't a throw on the field that he can't make. That aggressive mentality served him well, as it made him a Hall of Fame quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, among other teams. It also made him the all-time interceptions leader with 336. Favre was known to give defenses many opportunities to make game-changing plays against him. It's fitting that his last throw as a Green Bay Packer was an interception that lost his team a chance at the Super Bowl. True to form, even Favre's last throw with the Minnesota Vikings was a careless toss across his body that was picked off. This one also led his team to losing an opportunity at another Super Bowl. Favre threw at least 15 interceptions in 14 different seasons, way more than any other quarterback in NFL history. It's arguable that if Favre was more careful with ball security and decision-making, he might have ultimately won more Super Bowls and been higher up on the list of all-time quarterback greats. Who knows? Maybe even number one on that list.
He would have
but
been.
Instead, he's got one of the most embarrassing records in NFL history. So, which one of these records is the most embarrassing? Did we leave out anything? Let us know in the comments down
He
below.
didn't not better
If you
than
enjoyed
Tom
the
Brady.
video,
But
drop
Aaron
us a
is.
like and subscribe. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah, like and subscribe if you enjoyed that. But yeah, Aaron the GOAT.